Great. Well, before I start, I have to just say that I have a dog who barks a lot, and so if I'm interrupted at any time, that's because there's somebody at the door. So my name's Jake Zelkowicz. I'm the assistant principal of Arts and IT at Northampton College. Just very briefly, just to tell you about where we are at the moment, we've just enrolled 1,275 students onto a range of courses that we run within my school. And that is anything from media to music, to dance, to software development, to coding, to a whole range of art and design courses. So it's quite a big area, and there's lots and lots of expertise in that area already. Our results, I think, are really cool, actually. Last year we retained 98% of our students. We 100% pass rate, and we had a 98% achievement rate as well. So that for me was phenomenal, and actually stands us in really good stead for what we're trying to do next, which is to open up a digital academy, which is building. It's going to be a building, even though buildings are so passé at the moment. It's going to open in September 2021. We're targeting initially in the first year 100 students, 100 full-time students, and we've also got a range of part-time courses that will probably be adult based, maybe probably commercial courses. This presentation really is just to give you an overview of what we're doing, why we're doing it, where the information has come from in terms of what's led us to this point, the different people that we've talked to try and get the most current information to give us an idea about what's needed. We've spoken to a whole range of people, lots of industry contacts, people who work within various digital companies. I'm going to give you an idea of where we started and where we are at the moment. I'm going to list the full-time courses that we've agreed on. So those 100 students, where are they going to, what kinds of courses they're actually going to be doing, and then thinking about the types of part-time courses that we're going to also offer. And there's a whole range there. We're not quite sure whether all of them we're going to offer or some of them, but I'll give you an idea of what we're going to do there. So the vision really is that we want students to develop their skills from any kind of level that they're at to a higher level, and that could mean really at the moment we've got a basic level, it's called a DigiCap course, which is offered to our level 1 students. They're probably some of the lowest level students. They've not really done very well at school, and they're in terms of their digital literacy, we believe that some of them may have really good skills, but some of them may not even know or have access to digital networks. They may not have any Wi-Fi at home. So we want to give them the tools, even from a basic level, to how to save a file, how to navigate it through a digital platform, through to using Google Classroom, because that's one of our main platforms that we use at the college, to creating a whiz-bang Prezi of some kind. We also want to be able to offer students advanced level skills. So some of the courses really that we're developing and looking at will take us into really quite advanced skills levels, and into AR and VR. We're already doing games design, we're already doing coding, And so those technical skills that are being looked for at a very high level, we are, our main kind of thrust really through all this is that we want students to really create and plan and build the businesses of the future and become entrepreneurial, really. That's really our kind of vision. We want people to work together from different backgrounds, whether they're coders or creatives, whether they're technical whiz kids, that we want them to kind of come together and design and develop the businesses of the future. This is through a much, we're quite advanced now in terms of blended learning. So we've gone to, in March, we went to a completely remote platform. We've now adopted what we call a blended learning approach. So students come into us in very much smaller groups. So half of their timetable is face-to-face, but they are in very small groups. We've plotted out our classrooms. There's probably maximum of 10 students in a class, whilst others are beaming in remotely. We've got cameras in each of the classrooms. Each student either has their own laptop or is loaned a laptop. So all that is taking place at the moment. We believe that will continue into next year and probably beyond. So the ethos really is about collaboration, teams working together. We want to promote agile thinking and resilience. We believe those are kind of key skills for development, and they're important really in terms of their students' development and the way teams operate and work, and that's at the heart really of what this digital academy will be producing at the end. Rounded students that can cope working independently and mostly working in teams. So the research that we did very early on mainly came from SEMLEP, but I also looked at some TechNation reports as well. And this gave us an idea of what really would drive the plans that we were putting together. And it was, so the SEMLEP report 2019 was talking about policy that was being driven locally and that would reflect employer needs. And I actually, I'll show you later on, I actually went to maybe a dozen digital businesses, thanks to Richard really, and spoke with a whole range of people about what it is that they were looking for and how digital skills were important and contributed to a person's resilience, and what kinds of changes in the job market that those digital skills were driving. The SEMLEP report also talked about specialist skills, so higher level skills in, from level 4 to level 6, in specific areas that would also require high level skills that industry was looking for at that higher level. And actually what it was saying too was that just about anything and everything these days in any sector, in any job, would require some level of digital literacy, which is why we kind of said right from the very beginning that we wanted people to not only have a basic level of literacy, but also be able to build on that, progress through that to the higher level. So what we offer, certainly at the college, is anything from level 1 up to level 5 to our HMD level. And you'll see that in terms of the types of courses that we're going to offer in the digital academy. So thanks to Richard, I visited a whole bunch of people. These are all local industry contacts that we made, and they spoke to us about what kinds of things they were doing, what kinds of areas they were working in, what they thought would be the skills needed that our students should have when they come out of our college and move into either their relevant industries, or whether they moved into uh, higher education. They gave us some great ideas about the curriculum, how to plan the curriculum, what we needed to think about when planning that curriculum. They were also very up for being involved in some of that curriculum design. They showed a huge interest in working with us, which was absolutely brilliant. I spoke to many people, talking to them about the ideas about the building itself, the look and the feel of the building, what we were trying to achieve with the building, and it was all very kind of instrumental. What kind of technology we needed to kind of purchase. So all of those contacts gave us some really in-depth ideas, and also gave us the platform really to decide on which areas that we wanted to actually hone in on. I also, the three contacts at the bottom, they were so ADA is an institute of digital academy which is based in London. ELAM was another academy. So I was looking at what they were offering, what kinds of plans, kinds of the structure of their buildings, the shape of their buildings. And actually the Digital Institute in London, the last one, was really incredible. It was a really amazing space. And I've kept in contact with them to make sure that we have a really kind of close liaison with them, because they also run an esports program, which is one of the programs we decided that we would certainly offer our students and be quite an attractive proposition. And I know from about a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, the University of Northampton were also planning and designing that for a September 21 launch. So it'll be interesting to see how we both develop that program. So this is our progress so far, and I think it's quite meteoric, really. The idea was first run past me in September 2019. So Pat Brennan-Barrett, who is the principal at Northampton College, asked me into her office, and she talked to me about building a digital academy, and asked me whether I wanted to lead on that project. I didn't really have a huge amount of knowledge, although I've gained quite a lot in the interim. But I thought, what a great idea! I thought that was the way forward. I mean, this was even pre-COVID days, obviously, and so we agreed that I would run that project. At the same time, I'd still do my day job in terms of running the Arts and IT department, or the Arts and IT school. So I started planning, I started researching, I started developing. That went through October, and actually still continues now, really. So it's an ongoing part of my role. In November, we put in a bid for some finance to build this building. It is on our site. Oh, I've got a phone call coming through. I'll just ignore that. We went for funding through SEMLEP. SEMLEP were the people that were going to put up the money for it. In March, we were told that funding was secured. They said yes. So that in itself, to me, was quite a quick process, really. I mean, I thought that was incredible. So we raised £6.3 million, and we locked down. And I thought, okay, well, that's bad news. That's, you know, that's going to be delaying the project. And the estates manager told me that the building was going to start in May. And so, incredibly, the work started. It's actually, I now go back into college 1 day a week, and it's going up as we speak. The building is taking shape. I'm now involved in meetings about what is going to happen inside that building, what it's going to look like, the fit out, what kind of technology we want. Yesterday I was talking about lighting rigs, and the building is due to be completed in April of next year. So we will have a physical presence at that time, and then we will then, you know, and at the moment we're now in the kind of planning of the courses, so developing the courses, and so that's what's taking place right now. And those courses will start in September 2021, and they are, so we're going to start with 6 courses, and at different levels as well. So the level 2 will be the a social media and digital marketing course, where students will learn about producing online content, looking at digital audiences, digital marketing techniques, nowhere near the level that we just heard about from Patrice, but certainly they'll gain skills and knowledge in those areas which we believe are you know, important and relevant areas, and I think those students will take great pleasure in doing a course like that. I wish I'd done a course like that when I was 16. We're also developing a high-level course, so a level 3 course in AR and VR. We've already worked with a company called AR Media, based in Northampton. So our game students, we already have quite a big games area. Our game students have already been set a brief, and have put together a project for our new construction centre, looking at the virtual world of that centre, and being able to tour through it so that prospective students can see it online. Sports program. So we believe this is a growing area. This is the area for us. We've been through different stages in terms of, certainly I've been in FE for 25 years. I think the first wave of creative courses that took off before art design were media courses. Then we had a wave of music courses. They took off. We then had a wave, this is all in my area, obviously there's lots of other areas to choose from, but in my area, then we had the next wave of courses which were in games design, and we now believe that esports is the next wave of growth. Certainly in America, there are huge numbers of colleges that have gone into esports, which not only looks at gaming, but looks at marketing. We looked at events management. It looks at physiology. So there are all kinds of strands to it, and certainly there were 2.5 billion quarterly views in 2019, and it was worth 500 million pounds, certainly in the UK, much bigger worldwide. So this year we've started a level 4 in cybersecurity. Again, we believe it's a growth area, looking at cryptography, forensics, security. The level 4 in app design, we're looking at a 2021 start. So that will look at software programming, interface design, prototyping. And then the last course there is really it's an interesting course. It's a 1-year course at level 4, which really looks at working as a creative in digital design. It is very much an entrepreneurial course, project-based, where designers, graphic designers, illustrators, digital designers come together using the latest scanning, 3D printing, laser cutting technology to develop their portfolios. So those are the areas, those are the full-time courses that will go into this digital academy. And then there's a whole range of part-time courses that we're thinking about. Not all of these will get off the ground, but these are the discussions that are taking place at the moment that we think there are markets for, some of which will definitely go ahead, some of which may not see the light of day. But there are a whole bunch of courses there that we think certainly adults on a commercial basis will buy into. So that, I think, is about it for me. Yeah, that's it. That's our that's the Digital Academy, or what we hope to be a Digital Academy in Northampton, starting 2021.
That was excellent, Jake. Thanks very much. Some really good good questions have come in on the back of that. A couple of people just saying, really pleased that you're trying to cater for people that might have missed out on learning beforehand, might have fallen through the cracks, and you're going to pick those up. And also a couple of businesses really keen to connect with you, and would there be an opportunity to buddy up with the young people, making them, you know, mentors, that kind of thing, and giving them some real world projects at the same time?
Absolutely. I'm always up for collaborating. I mean, the people that you put me through to, Richard, have been fantastic contacts. They have also offered their advice and guidance, and they also want to be involved in a host of different ways in Digital Academy. I've learned lots from them, and I'm hoping that they will also be involved, and I welcome any involvement, because I see myself really as a person that just kind of gets other people together. I'm not a digital expert in any way. I've done a lot of research, but I see my role as bringing people together, collaborating, and I think that's what I'd like students to end up doing, and collaborating with the experts in their field.
There's lots of people in the chat looking to connect with you after. So I know you're on LinkedIn, but you're not very active, are you?
I'm not a huge, no, listen, I've got a huge network at LinkedIn, and yet I don't really use it. People constantly come up to me on LinkedIn and sort of saying, can I join your network? By all means, join my network, but I'm not, I certainly don't. I'm more of a, yeah, I wish it was face-to-face. I like talking to people, which has kind of been a bit of a downfall in this situation. I use email quite a lot, text, so I communicate all the time. But yes, I'm not. Well, I've got a presence on LinkedIn. They can message me on LinkedIn, and I will certainly get back to them.
I think that's probably the best way, if you share your email with them. Yeah, that's great. There's a really interesting question saying, with these new specialist skills and courses, you know, you'll probably be creating specialist software or using specialist software, specialist labs in the Digital Academy, which is a physical building. If a lot of the teaching is remote, how would that work? How would the students then access that specialisms that you've got within the academy?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, which one we're grappling with at the moment, actually. Um, so at the moment, students either have their own laptops and will have access to that software because we will make sure they have that software on their own machines, or they'll be loaned a laptop by the college. So the college has really invested heavily in technology at the moment so that all students are able to work remotely. Now, that in itself isn't the answer. It's not the panacea because then you go, well, how are those remote sessions going to take place, and what kind of technical problems are they going to have in terms of really understanding that software and engaging in that kind of remote session. And I have to say, at the moment, we're grappling with that. You know, we've just this is we're 3 weeks in. Our our aim is to keep everybody safe. We have half the numbers of students in college at the moment working in small groups. So actually, they get uh, quite a lot of me time really in those small groups when they're in college. And we're grappling with, well, how are those remote sessions? How successful are they going to be? And so we're at the moment, I have to be honest, we're sucking and seeing, and if it doesn't work, then we will change it. At the moment, we have worked remotely from March through to June. That seemed to work well. In fact, some students unbelievably thrived incredibly and produced some amazing work. And we had online exhibitions. The games students were producing incredible games that went on show reels. So it's not like it can't be done. It can be done, but if it's not working, then we'll find a way of making it work.
Yeah, there's definitely pluses and minuses, isn't there, to the current situation. And then
Yeah.
just the last question really on the building itself in the very beginning, and to think that you went from just the first idea to actually having it ready, it'll be 2 years, is pretty good going. What was the thinking originally about having a building? So it was a digital academy, all these new courses. What would the new building physically offer that maybe your existing buildings don't offer?
No, it's just space. Well, there's two. Well, space first of all, because we wanted to expand our offer. So we've got in the first year 100 students. We didn't have that space to accommodate that, so we needed physically more space, and we also wanted to. And again, that would, so it's 100 in the first year, and then you have more in the second year because you'll have second years of courses, and then we'll also have the capacity to say, well, what else can we offer on top of that? But also the space itself to think. I mean, as I said, I think I spoke to you, and I spoke to many people. That the actual look, feel, what we were trying to achieve in that space, how we were going to use it. That was really important. Certainly, it was important to me, and that was what I was trying to get across in all my discussions with the people that were being involved in the planning, how we could make it as collaborative as possible. I mean, yes, there's still going to be traditional digital labs. There's going to be technology in there, but we're also going to have an esports arena, which will be, a really incredible space that will house a kind of this kind of new wave of digital esports. We're going to have the ability to bring people together from different strands, different pathways, and try and build, as I said, so the ethos being that we want people to work together, and we may not have the biggest kind of digital businesses in Northampton, but what we can do is build on small businesses and develop those small businesses so that it becomes like a hub. I'm in terms of in London, in East London specifically, there's the Silicon Roundabout in Old Street with lots and lots of small digital businesses sprouting up, and I'd quite like to recreate that in Northampton.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's a perfect moment to stop there. That's great, Jake. Christine's been writing some notes down, so I think for the panel, she'll be quizzing you a bit later on.
Excellent.
Thanks very much.